Captain Archer, the brave plastic action figure with his trusty suction cup bow and arrow set, stood poised in the training ground, a corner of the playroom near a large, empty cardboard box. His target was a big red circle drawn with washable marker on the side of the box. Watching him were Zoom the little toy car, and Bella the ballerina doll, her fabric tutu rustling slightly. "All right, team," Captain Archer announced, nocking a bright yellow arrow. "Observe the technique of a master marksman." He drew back the bowstring, aimed carefully, and thwack. The arrow flew straight and true, its red suction cup landing right in the center of the circle with a satisfying thump. "Wow," whistled Zoom, his tiny wheels spinning in admiration. "How do you get it to go exactly where you want it every time, Captain Archer?" Captain Archer puffed out his plastic chest. "Ah, my little wheeled friend, it's not just about aiming. A crucial part is the very point of the arrow itself. This part right here," he said, picking up another arrow and pointing to its very end, just before the suction cup. "This is the arrow tip." "The arrow tip?" asked Bella, tilting her painted head. "Is that like the arrow's nose?" Captain Archer chuckled. "You could say that. The arrow tip is the leading point. It has to be perfectly straight and well-formed. If the arrow tip is bent or damaged, the arrow won't fly true, no matter how well I aim." He showed them closely. "Even though mine ends in a soft suction cup for safety, the part leading to it, the arrow tip, must guide the arrow's flight accurately. So, the arrow tip is the very front pointy part that helps the arrow fly straight?" Zoom summarized, trying to imagine having an arrow tip on his front bumper. "Precisely," boomed Captain Archer. "A good arrow tip cuts through the air and directs the arrow to its target. Without a proper arrow tip, an arrow is just a wobbly stick." Bella looked at her own pointed ballet shoes. "My shoes have a kind of tip too, for balancing when I do a pirouette." "An excellent observation, Bella," Captain Archer said. "Many things have important tips for their function. But for an arrow, the arrow tip is essential for accuracy and reaching its goal." He nocked another arrow, making sure its arrow tip was perfectly aligned. Thwack! Another bullseye. "See? The arrow tip does its job," he declared proudly. Zoom and Bella looked at Captain Archer's arrows with new respect. They hadn't realized how important that little arrow tip was. "So, even though it's small, The arrow tip is a big hero for the arrow, Zoom decided. Indeed it is, Captain Archer agreed, carefully placing his arrows back in their quiver, making sure each arrow tip was protected. Bella imagined all her toy friends having important tips, the tip of a paintbrush, the tip of a crayon, the tip of Patches the puppy's curious nose. But for today, the hero was definitely Captain Archer's amazing, accurate arrow tip.